Yeah, I was talking about Billy McGee today. Billy McGee, Mary, very, very feminine sort of guy. Uh, Gay as they come, long blondish brown hair, uh, pretty face, and like 5'6". Used to have breasts and all that. Used to give it stuff so they could grow their little breasts and all that. And I mucked about a bit a few times. When it was on the green, I used to go in there, pop up her boob tubes, the boobs would fall out, and she used to say, "I'm gonna kill you, Ray." People were gonna have got me enough saying it. And yeah, it's like it's. I remember prison's a funny old place. There's a lot can happen in prison. Prison's one of them places like you can upset someone 1 minute, and the next minute they come behind your back and stab you 4 or 5 times. That's what prison's about. So you got to be on the ball all the time. I remember Billy McGee. I was in the toilet, me, Togi Ludlow, a couple of other people, just having a wash and all that. And there's this guy been taking liberties with Billy McGee. Billy McGee was a young gay guy, and the trouble with these young gay guys, they got the men's strength. They got that woman's thing about them, but they still got that men's strength, and they're quite dangerous. Women are dangerous, you know what I mean? You give them something in their hands, they stab you, they don't think about it. And it's the same with someone who's a bit gay. But not a bit, he was a lot gay, yeah? And we remember being in the toilets with me, as I say, targeting a few other people, and that Billy McGee run in there. The guy's in the shower, and she run in there and stabbed him about 6, 7 times with a pen. Just kept stabbing him. He was screaming and just kept stabbing him. Run out the thing and chucked the pen on the floor until you got hold of the pen and just smashed it to pieces and put it down the toilet. Bits and pieces, just smashed it up, mate. Fingerprints and all that game. And Billy McGee run, and the guy come out of the toilet like all like blood everywhere, you know what I mean? Mostly internal, but it was all blood. And sort of like just about got down the stairs and went into the office, I suppose, and kept his mouth shut and just said that I was in the shower and I don't know what happened. Just someone come in and stabbed me up. I never see who it was, and they shipped him out. They shipped him out a bit quick to another Nick hospital or whatever. He didn't come back to the wing anyway. And Billy McGee, you got to remember Billy McGee, mate. He stabbed George Cockle 16 times with a 1/4-inch chisel in the wood mill, and that was over a gangbang. I mean, I remember, because I would remember, because I had to go to court on it, you know what I mean? Billy McGee come to my cell, Mary come to my cell, knocked on my door when we was having a drink in there, and, loads of us in there. And what's up? I said, look, mate, George Cockle is, he wants me to have a gangbang and all that shit, and I don't want to do it. I love him. Please, Ray, help me out. He says he's going to bash me out if I don't do it. I just said, look, go and tell him if he fucks about, I'll sort it out, yeah? And that was it. And the next morning, there's me cooking something on the gas stove. Boom, the alarm's gone off. I think it's because of my state. It's a bit stupid, really, but you do silly things, silly thoughts. And the next thing you know, there's George Cockle coming in on a stretcher. All little puncture holes, like all blood marks on the sheet, and just coming through the stretcher, banging everybody up. I was in the kitchen, so I was just see it, and wow, and I couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? And about 5 minutes later, mate, Billy McGee, Mary, come walking in, tied up, arm up back, locked, just like heads down, hands, and it's just like, and it's screaming and shouting and hollering, and she just stabbed George Cockle 16 times with a 1/4-inch chisel in the wood mill, because George Cockle come over to bash her up and come unstuck and got stabbed 16 times. That's what prison's about, Seen so many things. I mean, the other day, me and Terry mucking about, had a bit of a laugh in here in the flat, yeah. Anyway, so anyway, my shirt got ripped and all that game. So I took my shirt off and come out with another t-shirt. He went, so what's all them scars on your belly, mate? What's all that? Oh, and that was Tank, you know. He said, well, fuck that. And I said, well, it doesn't matter how big you are, how tough you are, you think you are, you can always come unstuck, you know what I mean? And me and him had a row and this, that and the other, and he tried to come and do me. Anyway, it's like this big story. But yeah, I used to collect all the washing on a Thursday. You know, I worked in the kitchen, but it was a little job I used to do first thing when I was going to the kitchen, and collect all people's clothes and put it in order, you know, and then go to the kitchen and do my other little job. But it was nice to have a little few perks, yeah. You know, you get all your, whatever you want, all the nice clothes, all your nice bedding, all your nice sheets and everything, yeah. So I used to do that little job, yeah. And I was up on the freeze, collecting the bins, in these plastic bins, and as I was coming to the stairs, I got pushed down the stairs by this guy, Tank, and 3 or 4 guys set about me, and it doesn't matter how big you are, how strong you are, 3 or 4 guys on your case, you've been chucked down the stairs, it's quite hard to get yourself up, you know. But because I was big and strong, it could have been, I could have been killed, you know what I mean? But he sliced me up 3 times with my belly with a Stanley knife, yeah? And I got away, you know what I mean? I got away, and no one knew nothing about it because I was well covered up. I put all things around my body to make no one see it as such, yeah? Later on, maybe, when I was on the 1074. But there again, you know, that's another thing, you know what I mean? It stabbed me right up, you know? And I've seen people upstairs, mate, on the freeze. I've seen people really get it. Wally Walker, he got it big time, mate. They steamed him and done him bad, mate. They plunged him up bad. That was over a Rolex watch. They nicked his watch, rushed into his cell, nicked his watch, Rolex watch, and silly cunt. He come out on visit, put it on his wrist, thought he could be big time Charlie Potatoes, and they went in his cell and wanted his watch. And he blamed some people, went in their cell and blamed them, and later on, that same day, they were in his cell and they stabbed him up, you know, and they stabbed him up, and you know, you've got to remember, there's things, wood mills and all them, they can make knives in the wood mills, yeah, and then, don't believe, let me tell you something, them knives they make at the wood mill, just like just as good as ordinary knives, you know what I mean, if not worse, you know. And they make all these things in the wood mill, and you know, I've seen people get really plunged up bad. You know, look, I mean, I remember not even get plunged up, but do things to themselves. I remember Jackie downstairs. You know, to get all his names, you know, people gave, but Jackie was like, looked like what was it? What was his name now? Batman, isn't it? Batman, but who was the one? Batman looked like a penguin. Was it Mr. Penguin or whatever? Well, this is what Jackie looked like. Long, greasy hair, going bald, big nose, gay as they come. Had a guy wrapped around him, ex-army. Let me tell you something, this guy was a raving nutcase, mate. You know, people knew that he was not to go over the top of this guy, mate, because he was gone. I mean, I don't know where he come from. Someone said that he was involved over in Ireland with the IRA, and they got hold of him, they tortured him, done some terrible things to him, and before they killed him, they come and captured him. Some people come in and they saved his life, but he took him away, and his head's just completely gone, mate. He was in Cloud Cuckoo Land, you know, and I think he got 15 years for chopping someone up in little pieces. Just gone, mate, complete nut. Got involved with his Jackie, and and then Jackie was a lifer, doing a lot of bird, done a big lot of bird, decided to like, you know, decided to stay as a C cat, B cat in Albany, and you know, not go to a D cat, and got told it's got to go to a decat. It's done a lot of bird now. It's time for to move on, and didn't want to mate. And they said, no, you got to go. It's as easy as that. Once they make their mind up, you got to go. You know what I mean? About no, you don't want to go. You got to go. And what he done, wedged up 4 or 5 wedges, and then put nails into the floor as well. And you had no chance of getting in there. It was impossible. They couldn't not get in there. The screws was bashing it and crashing it. Made it even worse because the wedge was getting deeper, the nails were getting deeper into the door, and they couldn't get in. Looked through the thing, spile, and there it is, cut. Its arms, its legs, neck, everything. Cut it all up with a blade, ripped it to pieces. Lucky enough though, it didn't go upwards with the cuts. It went across with the cuts, and I mean, still as bad, mate, you still die. And blood around the neck, cut the neck, but not the jugular. Blood was pissing out of the neck. I don't know if it was jugular, and all the body was cut, the legs, back of the legs, and it's like everything, If you lived your life, why would you want to, all of a sudden, you're there for sympathy, you don't want to kill yourself, you're there for sympathy, you don't realise what you've done. It made it worse because once you put the wedges in the door and they're kicking the door in, they can't open the door. They can't get the wedges out. You can't get the wedges out. You're too weak to pull them out. So Jackie looked like dying in there. The blood was pissing out. He was screaming, want help me. Like, really like a gay. Unbelievable. So me and Johnny Barry, Parky and Johnny Barry, they were the ones at Regency from the Craze and business. Anyway, we went upstairs, me and John, and we got an acro from that cell when the guy burnt himself, the gay guy. I'll tell you about that one in a minute. We'd come downstairs with the acro and put the acro, bump, and crashed, and the door smashed in, and they got in, mate. Everybody was banged up, you know what I mean? Everybody was banged up. Me and John were banged up, like, you wouldn't believe it, mate. There was, that cell was just blood everywhere. I don't know what happened to Jackie. They took Jackie away. I should imagine he survived because he's in there, nothing. The guy that was in the army, and they fell in love together, was going mad. Crying, I'm going to kill you all for what you've done to her, and this, that, and the other. And I think that was shipped out. He got shipped out at the same time as that Jackie got shipped out, but he didn't want him in the wing, mate. He was a complete out-and-out nutcase. He'd be stabbing everybody, like, he wouldn't think about it. He'd just keep stabbing. He's one of them nutnuts, So they moved her out, but when we got the acro, let me tell you about that one, that was the guy on the freeze in Albany, and I wasn't on that side of the wing. I was on the other side, on the other spur. I was on the right-hand side. He was on the left-hand side of the spur. You could look out the window more like you see it, But what he did, they were the same thing. They were shipping him out to a D-cat or a lower cat, a C-cat. It's a BC cat, Albany. And it's a few A cats there, anyway, but it's a BC cat, Nick, so they're going to move it out to a D cat. Done a lot of birds, some of these gay people. They get big bits of bird, mate. They don't muck about. They're quite nut, you know what I mean? And it's done quite a bit of bird. Fell in love with people. Good-looking guy, and didn't want to go. And I thought, I want to wedged it all up. The thing, and in Albany, all your cells are electric, so they very rarely do they use the key. It's all click, 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 and that's your lock. The lock's on. Very rarely, mate, do they use the key. So they've got no reason to have the keys in the wing. The keys at the gate. So this gay guy. I don't forget his name, John G. I don't know, I've no point in making a name up because I don't know yet. But anyway, set lights on the mattress, and in that time, there was no mattresses that are fireproof. Now they're fireproof. You can't burn them. The rubber and all that's got fireproof, and usually the thing around it, goes into it. What goes into the rubber bed is usually fireproof. Yeah, and all that. It wasn't. Set it alight, and the whole fucking cell went up like a torch. And you got all these little black things floating around from the rubber. Opened all the windows, and the breeze from the windows making it even worse. And now this gay guy knows that he's going to die because he can't breathe. There's fire everywhere. He's trying to go to the window. The window's open, the wind's blowing, and it's more or less he's in trouble, mate. Screws come up. Got the electric doors clicked off. Couldn't open the door. The wires are burnt. No doors would open up because the electric's been burnt. All the doors were fucked up. So everybody had to stay in their cell. And then they had to go down to the gate, phone the gate up, get security to come up with a key to get into the cell. And when they got into the upstairs, put the key, tried to get the key in the door. The door was that hot that they couldn't get the key in. But eventually got the key in, opened the door, and as they opened the door, that gay guy come running out there with a light. I'm on about a light, like a fucking. Well, it was just a light, mate. The whole fucking body was a light, and he went running down the corridor, and all the footprints were stuck to the tiles. And just collapsed and burnt, and then they rushed over to it and put all sheets over it and blankets and all that. But it was too late. The whole body was burnt, just crisp, mate, crisp, yeah. And you think to yourself, wow, man, why do these people do that? You know what I mean? Gay guy. I've seen there's 2 or 3 gay guys that do them sort of things, yeah. You got Jackie, you got Billy McGee, you got this one upstairs, 3 gay guys. I've seen guys do guys with hot water. I've never seen the guys do this sugar and hot water. That was a new thing that come out. It never came out in my time. It might have done, I never see that, you know what I mean? But I've heard about some terrible things. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, I ain't going to say his name because he's going to do a podcast with me. Yeah, he's proper big time gangster, mate. You know what I mean? And a lot of people know him. He can give his name out when he does the podcast with me, and then people know who he is. He's really, really heavy. Yeah, he's done some big bits of work. You know what I mean? But another guy. That I know really well. I could say his name, Alan Burns. Alan Burns killed as a security guard, and then had it away, and then they've only just caught him in another country. I think it was Belgium or something like Holland, and he's back in this country now. He's in a wheelchair. He's in a bad way. He ain't got long to live, mate. He's gonna get. He's got to finish his sentence off. He got a life. He escaped from the van. Anyway, but this guy, it's one of the things that happen in life. This guy went with his missus or his girlfriend, looking after the kids, and everything got a bit serious. And, he was doing the guy a favour because the guy was in prison looking after his kids. Not Alan Burns, this other guy. So he's looking after the kids, doing him a favour. And then he got put away for a big bit of bird itself and an armed robbery. And when he was in the nick, they happened to put him in the same nick as Alan Burns. But it wasn't a good thing to do that, you know what I mean? So, but instead of putting them on the wing, on the same wing, they put them on a different wing. They knew about what was happening. You think they'd separate, from another nick to another nick. But a guy come in the cell when he was there, naked and done him with a bucket of boiling water with sugar. Burnt the whole of his front of his body, yeah? Took all the skin off his body, burnt him and to death nearly, yeah? They rushed him into hospital, mate, you know? And this is a true story, mate. They rushed him into hospital and he was in intensive care. And, you know, and then someone come in to finish it off. And this someone was Tate. Yeah. Tate come in the cell to finish it off. This is what I was told. It was stopped. Something happened. It was stopped. And this and the other. The guy was moved. No names was put up, but that's what I was told. Tate was. And you know, you just go to show you, you're not that safe in prison, mate. Well, no matter what you do, you're not that safe. You know, you get quite a lot of guys that think that they can go with people's wives and girlfriends and all this, that and the other, and why these guys are going to prison. But the only thing is, 9 times out of 10, well, I don't think 9 times out of 10, I think 10 times out of 10, the people that go with guys' wives and birds while they're in prison are exactly the same as what the guy in prison is. They're usually armed robbers, gangsters or whatever. So the law of averages says that they're going to get caught and then they got to go in prison and their arsehole falls out, you know, or their arsehole don't fall out. They think, well, I'll sort it out. I ain't going to let him do this to me. But 9 times out of 10, it's either him that goes to the guy and stabs him up, or the guy goes to him or doesn't go to him and gets someone else to stab him up, yeah? And it happens, mate. It happens 24/7 in prison. People think that they can come in prison, mate, and, you know, go in prison or whatever, and someone outside is going to get over their woman and it's forgot about. It don't ever get forgot about because in prison, there's there's nothing else to forget. That's in your mind. There ain't nothing. The prison is what is prison? You know, prison is one of them places that when you go in there, if your front room's pink, nothing happens in your mind. You still think your front room's pink because no one's come and told you any different. As far as you're concerned, it's pink. And everybody thinks the same. We all think the same, that it's not going to change. It doesn't change when you're in prison. It's all the same, mate, you know what I mean? People forget, you know, people do these things, but I've seen some terrible things in prison, mate, and people get really obliged. I mean, when I was in Albany, 70s and 73, 74, I had a fight with a guy called Dennis Mulligan. It doesn't matter if he's dead now then, you know, me and Dennis Mulligan didn't like, I was with Peter Kelly, other people, loads of heavy faces that I thought went exercise like Tommy Green and Laurie Gibbons and Laurie Mann and all these people, loads of people, yeah. And Dennis Mulligan knew a lot of people, big face then, big arm robber. Dennis Mulligan come Bermondsey, and he was on the gardens, forks, knives, weights, fucking everything there. Do you know what I mean? And he didn't like me because I was quite flash, yeah. Because I was a young, big boy, big, powerful man that didn't give a monkey for no one when I was at Albany in 73, 74, you know, until I got done, you know, anyway. So I was always in the gym, you know, and I was flash, telling people to fuck off, didn't give a monkey's about anybody, didn't bother me. I was all big, powerful, can have a right fight, young man, didn't care for no one. You know, I had a big name in there. Anyway, one day went round the yard, running around the yard, and me, Tommy Green, was running around it together, and you know, and they all went in, and I kept running, and the screws said, "Come on, gotta go." They'd all gone in, and I'm following up, and some guys are still in the gardens, and after I'm walking up, they done me, mate. They done me, Mulligan done me with all sorts of things. Yeah, mate, they smashed me to pieces. You know, they nearly killed me. You know, it was only my size and my strength that saved my life. But that's what happens. That's what happens. You think you know, this, you think you're that, and it happens, mate, and you're going to get done. You're going to get done. If you think you're a big time Charlie Versace, you're going to get done, mate. There's always someone out there, there's someone in there that would do it. You know, loads and loads. I mean, I remember when we used to go to the cinema. It's like a Keystone Cop thing, you know what I mean? It's like mad. I remember when we used to go to prison. I would go to prison, look at me. I remember when we used to go to the cinema in Albany, and you know, and you upset a lot of people. I'm always upsetting people. I was always doing that. And I learnt a lesson from Peter Kelly. And Peter said to me, listen, they're going to come on the hit with you, mate. You take limits, right? You're bashing people up. You don't stop, mate. You know, they're going to hit you, eh? And you've got to be careful, mate. And they're going to get you in a cinema or something like that, or they're going to come in your cell one day and do you, you know, 3 or 4 handed. But I said, no, I'm always wedged up. They ain't going in my cell. I've got a nail in the door, wedged up. They ain't going in my cell. But they did try. Anyway, so I used to, it sounds a bit crazy, but I used to wear this big grey overcoat, massive overcoat. And I used to put books down my trousers, big books, you know. So I thought, if they're going to plunge me, you've got to plunge me up the top half. 9 times out of 10, they'd plunge you down the bottom. So you're going to hit the book, you know, hit the book. But it never come to me being plunged up, you know what I mean? But I was always weary. Peter Keller's always there with me anyway. There was other people with me sitting there. There was 5 or 6 of us all sitting there, you know, and it's not hard. You know, someone come up and stab you in the fucking neck, you know what I mean? You know, prison is a place, yeah, that when they give you 10 years or whatever they give you, it's not about the bird they give you, it's about getting out in one piece. It's survival. You got to survive in there, mate. You know, and you don't know who that you're with, who's in there. You know, when you first get your bit of bird, mate, and they put you in the cells. When I first got my bit of bird, you was 3 up and 4 up in a cell, 2 bunk beds. Yeah, now imagine 2 bunk beds, filthy, dirty, stinking in there. 1 little pot to poo and your pee. So it used to be shit parcels chucked out the window, yeah? So you can imagine what it was like stinking in there, yeah? People smoking. And you're going in a cell where there's 3 other people in there and you ain't got a clue who those 3 other people are. And there's you getting in your bed at night time, not even knowing who they are. And they could be running nut who's going to come along and stab you to death at night. So prison's a bit of a dodgy place. Prison's a bit of a bad place that, you know, when people line up and slop out, when you used to slop out your pot and all that game, you know, and there's people in there just growlers, mate, growlers, and they will do you. They will do you with something, you know what I mean? They might not. Then the thing is, a lot of these people can't fight. A lot of them can't fight, but what they will do, they will plunge you up. But they will stab you 4, 5, 6 times. Then they're going to run in their cell, bang themselves up, and then get on the bell. You've got to get me out of here, governor. And that sort of thing. That's what they're like. That's what prison's about. You know, it's not about standing up having a fight with you, mate. It's about being plunged 4 or 5 times in the back or in the front. Yeah. I remember years ago, I was in Maidstone, and I was a world wing. And there was everybody in the world wing. I mean, yeah, Pat Adams was in the world. You got Fraser, David Fraser, Patrick Fraser. You had Dorans in there. You had, there was, everybody is in world wing, yeah? Everybody. You had Medway, you had Kent wing, yeah? But everybody was in the world, the faces, yeah? And what was it? So anyway, I'd had me and Stevie Doran, Steve, a nice fella, mate, good looking guy, But it's like anything, as I told you, you get a bit leery. Um, I've gone down there for my dinner, and Stevie's door and saying something. I'm trying to shut his mouth. He turned around and started a nut on me. Yeah, it was like, it was nothing. You know what I mean? And just give him a couple of clumps, and I went upstairs. I grabbed my food and went upstairs, and I come down later that day, and there was a film on telly. So, so I went straight down the front of the telly thing, sat down the front, and there was Freddie Lloyd and Bobby Dixie. Bobby Dixie is funny, but I like Bob. He's dead now, rest in peace, Bobby Dixie. And Bobby Dixie said to me, "Ray Hill, I'm going to stab you to death." Just like that. I'm sitting in the television room. And I'm going, Freddie Lloyd, I think David Fraser, or Patrick Fraser, and then, anyway. So Bob Dixie said to me, "I'm going to stab you to death, I'm going to kill you in here, Lee, now, what you done with Stevie Dawn." But I liked Stevie, it wasn't enemies, it's just one of the things that happened. So he stood up, Bob, and I said, "Bob, I'll stick that knife up your fucking arse, mate, if you come any closer. And I swear I'll stick that fucking knife up your arse." You know what I mean, like that, you know what I mean? Bobby Dixie. And me and Bobby Dixie, later on, I was in Pal Joey's in the city, me, Danny, there's quite a few in there, Pat was in there, there's quite a few of us in there. And I'm on the dance floor dancing like a lunatic on the coke, and like a lunatic. And Bobby Dixie's sitting over the table with Davey Fraser and Patrick Fraser, and I think the old man was there and all, Frank Fraser, it was all on the chair, all the table. And I looked up to Bobby Dixie, "Oh, Bobby!" You know what I mean? He come over, me and him had a quick hug and a cuddle as you do, kiss on the cheek. And it's all forgotten it, you know what I mean? It was like, "Yeah, it's all right, Bob." And it's like, "Oh, mate," and all that. It was nice, But these silly things in prison, I've seen geezers who just do silly things, mate. Cut their wrists, cut their throat, stab this and stab that to get out of prison because of whatever. Someone's in there, and why stab yourself? Why do that? If someone's in there, he's causing you grief. You can stab yourself, go and stab him, And you see guys just leaning over like that, asking for help, come down the stairs, holding their belly, asking for help, and being stabbed up, And sometimes some of these people that stab them up, they're like, they're stabbing with proper bits of blades from the metal shop or from the kitchen. You get knives, and they make things, wood mills and all that, make big knives. And if they plunge you up, mate, it's quite easy to die. You know what I mean? When I see that time I was in the exercise yard and I see Billy Blundell and Pat Adams having that little fight, and you think to yourself, well, one of these is going to kick off, one of these later on is going to get stabbed up or done with an iron bar in the gym or something, You get Pat in the gym, you get Billy Blundell in the gym, you know what I mean? You get Bill doing boxing, and you get Pat doing the weights, and they're just loggerheads, and you could see that it was going to happen because Pat he ain't no fucking idiot, you know what I mean? He's quite dangerous, Pat, So is Bill, you know what I mean? You don't want to see it kick off. I mean, Vicky Dart was the one that stopped it, I think, if I can remember rightly. One in there stopped the fight. Him and Ricky Curley stopped the fight between them two. It was a bit silly, you know what I mean? I don't know what's over it. You can't get involved in that sort of thing, you know what I mean? Fuck that. And I don't know. And it's prison's weird, man. Prison's weird to see the things can happen in there, and people get You know, when I met little Alan Pountney in Aylesbury, YP, and he was stabbing all Indians up in the laundry with these needles, yeah. And he was like, honestly, he must have stabbed about 8 or 9 Indians when I was in there, in the arse and all that, you know. And he was little dangerous, sort of Alan, you know, done for killing that old woman when they done the burglary, him and his dad. But he got HMP, and he wound up in Parkhurst, and they Craze obliged him, wound up in Broadmoor, and they just mashed him up, mate. You know, when he mashed him up, and Reggie done it in Parkhurst, and they just ruined the kid, you know what I mean? And when I see him in the scrubs years later, it don't seem possible that I done a YP, I done another big sentence, and I was on C ring. I come out of the C ring, walking round, and bump, there he is, Alan Pountney, and I couldn't believe it, mate. And I looked at him. He was like a little old man, you know what I mean, bald head, like shuffling around. Never changed in the way his appearances were. Very smart, crisp clothes, prison clothes, all starched collars, and he was always like that in the YP. You know, he always used to starch his shirts and his jackets, always crisp shoes, spit and polished shoes, you know, very, very smart, you know. But when I see him, you know, man, no hair, bald as they come, like me now, but bald, mate, and he looked as if he'd gone through it, mate, you know. And he took me into D-Ring. I'm not quite sure if I was in D-Ring myself. I can't remember now. It's such a long time ago. But took me into D-Ring, into his cell, and it was like a shrine. It was like a crazed shrine. Like the whole cell was smothered with crazed memorabilia. It had all letters and cards and photographs and pictures. His cell was memorabilia of the craze. I mean, that cell would be worth £1 million if he sold it at auctions, that stuff, you know what I mean? I don't know whatever happened to Alan Pountney, if he ever got out of prison, I don't know. The rumours was when I was there, that he stabbed about 3 people up in D-Ring, in the scrubs, you know, and got shipped out. I think he went back to Parkhurst, not to Parkhurst, out to Broadmoor. He was just gone, mate. It was a young boy, a young kid. He was too young to put in the YP, but they couldn't handle him. So in a boy's place, so in a little kid's prison, they couldn't handle him, so they put him into a YP with us, yeah. And even now, he was only a little guy, smart, crisp guy, getting all these pins and things. I think the guy in the not the screw, it was a civvy, but I think the civvy was getting his cocks out or doing something, because he looked after Alan. Give Alan everything, yeah. He gave Alan Pountney everything. He was always in there. When everyone had gone, Alan stayed there. And I think he was doing things still. I don't know, but Alan had everything, yeah. And, you know, and the young boy, what was he, 15? You know, he shouldn't have been in YP. He should have been somewhere else. But they just couldn't handle him. He was stabbing up people all the time, and they just couldn't handle him, mate. And in the end, they decided that the only thing he could do was put him in that place. And then he was going mad, stabbing more people up. And so they sent him to Parkhurst, and then they got hold of him, maxed him up, the kids, Craze and bits and pieces, Reggie and Ronnie and this, that and Evan. He moved to Broadmoor with the other fella, Ronnie. They obliged him, mate. He was like thing. And when I see him, he was just gone, mate. Gone. He got me straight away, hello Ray and all that, and telling me stories about what he'd done this and done that, and stabbed him up and stabbed that up, and I thought, Alan, mate. You know what I mean? I don't personally, myself, yeah. I don't think that they'd ever let him on the street. He was one of them people that you could never let on the street like that. He was like, he was a complete out and out. They ruined him, yeah. It's like the craze. They only let him out of the street when they're gonna die, when they're dying, yeah. You know what I mean? That's why. That's the only reason they let Alan out of the street, really, if he had a couple weeks left to live, yeah. And it was a shame to see that. It's the same, when I was being in Chelmsford prison, when them two Steves, I forget their name now, people look it up and find out, I forget their names, both mates in Chelmsford Steves, and they used to make caravans and boxes, music boxes and things like that, all out of matchsticks. And they'd be working, months and months and months and getting loads of matchsticks and making all these things for when they actually get released. And one Steve, forget their names, yeah. He was going out, I think it was Steve's, anyway. Someone always tells me, you know what I mean? Oh, you got it wrong, you don't know what you're talking about anyway, but they all told me. And he went out to Home Leaf. He also got DCAT or something like that, or he got, I don't know, something like then he took all the bits and pieces out to his dad's shop, and he told the other Steve that when all his stuff sold, I think it was in DCAT, yes it is DCAT, that's right, when his stuff sold, he'd be sending him cash in to the other Steve. They was pals, they was mates, they was like 24/7, always together. Never ever parted, mate. Good pals. None of that sexual shit, but good mates. Like there was loads in there like that, Mickey Green and, Tony Edlund, they were very close, good people close to each other. And Ronnie Bender and Tibbs is very close, you know what I mean? And, Terry Millman upstairs with Lou Swallow. There was all good people in there, yeah? And that's how they were, these two, yeah? And they had all these caravans and music boxes made, and when he went out to DCAT, he took all them out, gave them to his dad to sell in the shop. The old man sold all these fucking things, and the guy never sent the other Steve any money or nothing. So the other guy was out for a couple of years, and then something happened, and he had to come back. He had to come back to Chelmsford prison. He come back to Chelmsford prison, mate, and back onto Sebring, where the other Steve was there. And he knew, right, that the other Steve would kill him for what he'd done to him. So he decided, fucking mad, mate, this is mad. He decided to kill him before he could kill him, yeah? That's what prison's about. If you don't kill someone, they're going to come and kill you. So he went into Ronnie Bender's cell, and in Chelmsford, you could have things in there that you would never believe, right? Ronnie Bender had a weightlifting bar from the gym in there as his weapon, yeah? The other Steve's gone into there with got hold of the weightlifting bar, knows that the other Steve comes into Ronnie Bender's cell and cleans it up for him, because that's what he's always done. Ronnie Bender was always giving people money to go and clean his cell. Money, not money, cigarettes, drink, drugs, or whatever. A fucking gentleman, Ronnie Bender, mate. And as this Steve walked in the cell, the other Steve was waiting for him behind the cell door with a big iron bar, and he swung the iron bar, but the other Steve's a bit lively, put his hand up, and the bar went on the floor, and they're fighting. These two are really fighting. And next thing you know, the other Steve that's waiting for that Steve to give him all his stuff from outside, smashed his head to death. Smashed him, killed him. Just kept hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him with the iron bar, yeah? And they reckon, Ronnie Bender reckons, and I think it was
Ronnie Bender and I think it was Jimmy Tibbs, see the fucking, the mess of the guy. It was such a mess you couldn't recognise him. His head was turned inside out, where he'd hit him so many times with the bar. Now, the thing was this, right? The one that went out on to DCAT, right, or wherever he went and come back, he was going home soon anyway. The Steve that got the bar back and hit him with it, he just finished. Let me tell you what happened to Steve, right? Steve had took hostage at Albany years ago. And he was jumped on when they were taking him down to the gate to get to a coach to take him on. He's fucking mad. Do you know what I mean? And he got 12 years or something on top of his sentence or something like that, because there was a lot into it, more just what I'm just telling you. It went down with him. I think he hurt a lot of people, you know, screws and whatever. So he give him a 12 or an 8 or nothing on top of his bird. So he was finishing off. He's finishing off, mate. And because he put his hands up, got the bar, smashed the other Steve, killed him stone dead, and winds up getting an indefinite life sentence. Fuck me, eh? An indefinite life, and he's nearly going home. You know, down hostage to hostage at Albany, you know what I mean, and all that, and then this happens, you know, and you think to yourself, wow, man, what can happen in there? It's like, you know, and I've seen people running along, Toby Ludlow. I've seen people running along in Albany, holding their neck like that, where Toby's cut them with a blade, like just cut them, and holding the neck, running around holding the neck. Toby couldn't fight, mate, but he used to run around with a lot of people, 4, 5, 5-handed, mate. And when he was on the move, people knew that he was on the move to cut someone up, you know. Toby Ludlow become a supergrass, yeah. Probably about that, right? I'm just telling you what he was like. He's fucking dangerous, right? And when he was at Chelmsford Prison, he was more dangerous. When I went there and I see him, he looked after me. He looked after me like a brother. I can't say a bad thing about Toby. Right? He looked after me. He never gassed me up for all the things that I've ever done that he knew about. He never gassed me up. You know, I don't know what happened, mate. What made him do what he done, yeah? But me and him, he looked after me. Anyway, and him and Terry Millman, the guy who was involved with the Dome Diamond robbery, Terry Millman, me and Terry, nice fella. Terry Millman didn't take to a lot of people, mate. Terry Millman didn't take to a lot of people. He didn't trust any fucking body, Terry Millman. But him, Toby Ludlow, and Lou Swallow, and little Dave Potter, but they were together. They was all together. Dave Porter, not Potter. They was all together, mate. And they was walking, they was fucking dangerous. Terry Millman, I see Terry Millman, right, do this geezer, stab him up, mate, so many times, you wouldn't believe it. There was a guy in there, when I was in Chelmsford Prison, by a game called Ken English. Ken English. That wasn't his real name. You know, but I never knew his real name. I don't think a lot of guys knew his real name. But he was supposed to be the rapist of Jersey, the worst rapist ever, but he'd done something like 25, 26 years. So people weren't really interested with him, you know what I mean? But what he used to do, he used to walk around exercise yard and other places and go around. He could do what he really likes. He was like a red band, blue banner, whatever he was. He's done so much bird, mate. He was institutionalised. He'd never want to be released, one of them people, yeah? He used to go around picking up wood. He used to pick up wood. His cell was like a wood yard. I swear to God, you could do anything in Chelmsford Prison, it's fucking mad, you know what I mean? It was like a wood yard in there. And he was like, and the guy was a big, thick, powerful guy. He had wrists and fingers like sausages. His wrists were huge, massive, right? The biggest wrists I've ever seen. The biggest hands I've ever seen in prison and fucking arms was the old man Tibbs. He was fucking massive, old man Tibbs. Jimmy Tibbs, his old man was huge, mate. The old man Jim Tibbs. Fucking massive, powerful man. Anyway, so Ken English, they made a Ouija board. He made a Ouija board. Out of all the wood he's got, he made this Ouija board. And there used to be another guy who used to go in his cell with him. I suppose he was exactly the same as him, fucking about with young kids, killing young kids, or what they used to do, I don't know, yeah? But they've both done it 30 years, 20 odd years, so, you know, but they used to get together and do this Ouija board. They reckon in the morning, right, when they unlocked the cell, and they rushed up to see Ken English's cell and they couldn't work out why they couldn't get into his cell. He'd wedged his cell up, right, and he was like, would not come out of his cell. They eventually got the cell open, which they always do, and they brought him one of a set. But people on the wing that did see it said he come out of that cell white. He was white, but he came out of his cell like a white, pure white. His hair was as white as they come. Pure white hair, eyes out of his nut like that. And it just took him out, mate. And they reckon that he fucked about with that Ouija board so much that something happened, or he sees something, maybe he even see the people that he killed. They come back to haunt him or whatever, you know. But a lot of people say that I would sleep through fucking anything, a tornado. But a lot of people said they could hear him screaming at night time, screaming. So, you know, obviously the screws that do the night fucking run, night, you know, must have heard all that and said he's gone a bit dark, funny. And anyway, yeah, but he was pure white, you know, and he had, so everybody was saying, fuck it, he deserved it, you know what I mean? If he'd seen something go on, he deserved it, you know? If you might have seen the kids that he killed or whatever he'd done, the Jersey rapist he was, but there's a lot more to it than just that. His name is Ken English, mate. He was a bad man. But as I say, don't believe. Look at him. Look at fucking Tony Lawrence and Frankie Fraser. You know, it's only because that I stopped old Frank going in there and stabbing up Tony Lawrence. They didn't get on at all, them two, mate. Tony Lawrence, Frankie Fraser, they was loggerheads 24/7. You know, and it wasn't, you know, you knew that it was going to happen, you know. At any time it was going to happen, either Frankie Fraser would stab up Tony Lawrence or Tony Lawrence would fucking kill him. It was one of them things, yeah. But Peter Kelly, not Peter Kelly, Peter Lyons. Peter Lyons, mate, Mickey Blackmore, Peter Lyons, Roy Atkins, them three together. Oh, fuck me, mate. Peter Lyons, Roy Atkins and Mickey Blackmore, murders. Them three together, mate, they'd cause murders. You wouldn't muck about with them, mate. They would stab you to death. me and Peter Lyons, mate, we was going to have a terrible fight one day over milk. Over a cup of milk. I nicked his cup of milk. He was in the coppers, yeah? So he used to nick all the milk. And I asked him for a cup of milk and he wouldn't give it me. So I just went behind the fucking thing and nicked it, yeah? And went out. And, you know, then he come to my cell, causing me all sorts of grief. I said, go on, I'll bash you up. Go away. I'll smash you to pieces, Peter. You know, he went, will you? Okay. And I had a big weight in my cell, but Tony Lawrence gave it to me when he left, yeah? And now I couldn't have done nothing, he would have kicked off, yeah? But he come around my cell, Peter, and I was standing outside the cell with his weight in my hand. I said, well, come on then. I said, you fucking going to get this weight. You're going to get this weight across your fucking head. You know, but, and he had a big knife that he got from the kitchen, yeah? He'd sharpen it up. It was fucking, he kept, that was his little thing. But he looked at me and in the end he laughed and, you know, just come on, give me a cuddle. I went, yeah, fucking no. I thought, if he give me a cuddle and plunge me fucking 3 or 4 times, do you know what I mean? But yeah. But I see loads, man. I see loads of people in prison get stabbed. Get, you know, anyway, I can go on all down his fucking phone, you know what I mean, about what's happening in prison. But bang, bang, rail. One more thing. George Wilkinson. I've told a story, and it's a story that, you know, that hurt me, mate. And there's a book called Frightened for Your Life, you know, and it's about George Wilkinson, most of the book. You know, it's about people in prison that are absolutely nut. And it's called Frightened for Your Life because they killed George Wilkinson in prison. You know, he took hostage or something in prison. He went to see his mum. And then, cut a long story short, he wound up in Chelmsford. I looked after him, big guy, massive guy. And just, oh, 1 minute. Anyway, bang, bang, well, nice one.